Tell me, give me the sign. Live production. Who's here? Who's not? Nachum's here. Who's a bunch of people? Well, yeah. I don't see anybody on Zoom over there. Shouldn't I see them on the screen? Okay. No, so let's go. Yeah, unmute me. We're ready to go? All right. Bruchim Habayim. We have some very special guests here. We have Avi Mandelbaum, famous Avi Mandelbaum, who was a constant on Zoom every single day, probably from the first ones. Drove all the way from the Galil. He left at 5 o'clock in the morning, he says, something like that. Today is the 46th day of the Omer. I don't know how we're going to do this with the cameras. I can't hang it up on the Aron Kodesh behind me. Hayoim, Shisha v'arbaim yoim, Shem Shisha shavuos v'arba yomim ba'omer. We actually have Nehemiah Seltzer, who did all the design. Every day it's a new design because it has the daf of that day behind. You might not notice it when I hang it up, but he's here with us. I'll show you where he is actually. I have a picture. I thought it was very cool. And it's going to be even nicer. This is what it looks like. Are you able to zoom into this? Yeah. They are up in the gallery that way, above me. And they have all these screens, and they're getting another 2 screens because I guess 3 is not enough. So this is Nehemiah right over here, and this is his brother. That's why they are in close proximity to each other. Mordechai Seltzer Yishkoyach. Today's shir is being sponsored by, for the much missed mother-in-law, Anne Mincham. Chana Bas Baruch, Zechron Levrach on the yard side. Many thanks, Simon Gavzi, Edgeware, United Kingdom. Yeah, Edgeware, London, somewhere over there. I hope that's how I pronounce her name. Mincham. Today's shir is sponsored, listen to this one, this is unbelievable. Sponsored in the schus that camps in New York should be able to open this summer, Mirza Hashem. I know there's a lot of kids davening for that, a lot of camp owners. So Be'ezer Hashem, just a few emails. I don't have a clock. Where's my clock? Anybody? Oh, we'll do this. This is from Anonymous. Dear Rebelli, I already thanked you for your shir. The fact that it's on Zoom really helps me. Today I would like to thank you for continuing the Zoom, even though you're giving the shir live. So we're not only continuing Zoom, but Zoom is going to be an integral part of the shir. It's going to feel as if, at least for me, that the Zoom guys are in the Beis Medrash. Last night we went to, Gary and I, we went to the electronics store and we're replacing that screen with an even larger screen, a much more expensive screen. That's one, and then on the other side is going to be another one. It's going to be very much Zoom adapted. Exactly how we're going to involve the guys on Zoom, I don't know. Avi, if you have any ideas, because you're Mr. Zoom, to allow them to talk in a middle shir is going to be difficult. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Maybe before and after Zoom, I usually used to sit around and shmooze with the guys. Now I have to go down in Shachris. It's immediate. David jumps up, says brachas, so maybe I can go into another room, shmooze for 2 minutes. All right, we'll see. I'm sure many are shocked that you brought a TV screen into the Beis Medrash. Well, I would like to thank you for it. I don't know what I would do without this shir. This is what keeps me going. Thank you. Here's a nice one. I get the Vach, Reb Eli, and I get the Chodesh. It's David Farkas from Melbourne, Australia. Undoubtedly your biggest chassid. By the way, I could bang on this table. Oh, it might affect Zoom, but it doesn't affect YouTube. Because the camera for YouTube is all the way over there. We had a few complaints that people couldn't see the chart so well and whatever. But yesterday was just a trial day. Today, hopefully it's better. Thank you for sharing a great story about how you started the real estate business. It's a great message for any aspiring businessman. So I called in my 14-year-old son to come and listen as I replayed the story to him. Of course, there's also a message of ruchnis in that story. But in all honesty, it was more focused on the fact that you developed 2,000 apartments with no money. I've followed your shir since midway through brachas when I discovered you by chance. And Baruch Hashem, haven't missed a day since. Due to the time difference, Melbourne, Australia, I watched your shir the following day on YouTube in Australia. Despite the time difference and the fact that I'm not watching it live, I still feel part of your wonderful chabura and hope to join you one day at your shir in person. Can't wait to have you here. P.S. You and I shared in a world first today. What does he mean by that? Some background, he's a Chazan in Shul, member of Australia, in Caulfield Shul. And like most kilos around the world, the shul is closed. So we took the opportunity while the shul is closed, and I'm not at the Amit, to come away for Shabbos with the family to a place called Dalesford, 2 hours outside of Melbourne. Mamish in the middle of nowhere. We're literally in the middle, I didn't know they have yeshivish guys in Melbourne. Mamish in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of a forest, now for the world first. I'm pretty sure that no one has ever learned Daf Yomi in the forest outside of Dalesford before, and you were Zoycha to be the first person to deliver that shir. Similarly, I doubt anybody ever benched Rish Chodesh benching in the forest of Dalesford before. So, Bekitzer and Avi Mandelbaum was going to blow the shofar in Dalesford, and we'll have a first of a first. Thank you for making the Daf Yomi so accessible and engaging. May Hashem bless you with many more years of good health to be able to continue this wonderful initiative. Warm regards, Dov Farkas, Melbourne, Australia. Shkoyach. Yeah, he is? He's a famous chazan. Oh, Dov Farkas, a famous chazan. Okay, beautiful. We have famous chazan. We have Simon Cohen, a famous chazan. And now, I just want to tell you a beautiful thing. I'll tell you a story, actually. It's a famous story. A guy, back in the day, I don't know if you remember, like maybe 30 years ago, when we used to come to Eretz Yisrael, my grandmother always asked for one thing. She asked for coffee. How you doing? American coffee. They didn't sell that in Israel, so we'd bring American. So anyway, there's a story going around that a guy was asked to bring a jar of coffee, and the guy going to Eretz Yisrael said, "What's in it?" He says, "Coffee." Sure, yeah. And okay, so he took the jar of coffee to Israel. When he got to Israel, as soon as he gets off the plane, the guy from America goes, "Do you bring the coffee?" He didn't like that. It smelled a little weird. Why is he calling him the minute he gets off the plane? He goes home and he opens up the jar of coffee and he spills it all out on his table, and he finds diamonds in the coffee. So he took the diamonds out, put the coffee back in the jar, and closed the jar. And he waited for some guy to call him up. And he says, "Yeah, I have your coffee." The guy picks up the coffee. And of course, 5 minutes later, the guy comes running back. "Where are my diamonds?" He says, "Diamonds? I brought coffee." The guy said, "Coffee." Kids said they go to the Bezdin, and Rav Nisim Karel's, I think it was, said he's potter. You never told him diamonds? He's potter. And then as they walk out of the Bezdin, the guy turns around and says, "Here's your diamonds. Don't ever do that again. You almost got me in trouble." So here's the story. Why am I telling you the story? We got a box yesterday from America, and here it is. Here's my coffee. No coffee in it. Maisa Shahaya. Here it is. Why? Because it went through Meches, and Meches opened it up and spilled it out, and delivered a beautiful bottle of coffee. Cafe. Not only does my wife love this coffee, they had to stuck us out. Here it is. It came to Israel, and you got nothing out of it. However, the box was full. And here's one after another. So the guy, our good friend Harry Shalom, who I don't know if you recall, we said Kaddish for him, we davened for him, and we all spoke to him. We all Menachem Avelim, because he was doing all the way in the beginning of this whole pandemic. So Yishkoyach, Harry Shalom. This makes a great story, so don't feel bad that this didn't make it. 5 others made it. I'm sure he paid Kefal Kaflaim 10 times more than the actual coffee cost to ship it here. I don't know what it costs to ship a box like this, but it's not cheap. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yishkoyach, Harry Shalom. I just told my wife last night, I feel bad that I told the guys that I really like coffee, that my wife likes this coffee. I should have said I like gold or something. It would have been much better. I would have gotten a package. I picked the wrong item. Okay. Zok the Helig Gemara. What's that? In the coffee. By the way, I have to read some of this. This is a beautiful email because a wife sent it without her husband knowing. And then I kind of messed up on Motzei Shabbos. I started reading it, and then the husband heard it, and he sent me a beautiful email. I don't have that with me. But basically, here's a Talmud Chacham from Houston, Texas, and his wife says, I'm just going to, because I can't read the whole thing, it's too late. But basically, his mother's yahrzeit is today, Beis Sivan. And he found out, mother's name is, I should just mention the name real quickly. Maybe I'll find it while I'm reading. Esther Gruna Bas Avram Kalman. Zichron Levracha, her neshama should have an aliyah. He found out that the Siyum Hashas, and it's very interesting to us, the Siyum Hashas is on Beis Sivan today. in 7 years. So therefore he decided he's going to start. But she writes here that she and her husband, she at least watches with him the email part. And she feels good, be mishtatif with the learning with him, and it makes her feel good. It's very cute that a couple sits down together to watch the daf. I think it's great. And then he sent me, and what's very interesting, maybe I'll read it a different time. He produced a video about the Anecdotes Halachas. I found it very interesting. I only watched the first part about how to make bread, but it's like a 15-minute video. It's kedai to show to your kids. He goes to the farm, and they plow the ground, and they reap, and they ma'amer, and zoyre, and koitzer, and everything. It's very nice. Okay. We are very behind, but thank goodness we have Shavuos coming up. Ayin Tes Amud Beis. Rav Papa Omar. We're middle of a sugya of the chsustus and klav. So once again, to remind everybody, piece of parchment, a piece of leather, they would split it in half. And as Rabbi Schoenberg, I have a big schus of having Rabbi Schoenberg. I was scared he wouldn't come because of age. I guess he's only in his 40s, whatever. So he came. It was a big schos. He's been here from day one. He sits right over there, like 3-4 people down, and he always has his beautiful aris. And this is his. Anything like this technical, he's a mumchen. And he told me before the shir that today we don't even know how to do this anymore. It's an interesting point, and he points out the Taisvis, the Ramaskal Klaf, the Chsusus. We have a different Klaf Shalanu. Fine. In the time of the Gemara, they had something called the Chsusus and Klaf. It was to the two parts. It would split it in half. The part closer to the animal, see this red, pretend it's a carpet, but pretend it's red flesh. The part closer to the red is called duchsustus. The part further away is called klaf. We, according to Taisvis, don't write on the upper side, which is closer to the hair, rather this side facing the flesh. And the same thing with the duchsustus, we don't write on the side facing the flesh, but rather on the side facing the hair. So we write on these two parts, not on the upper side and on the underside. Now, regarding Sefer Torah, Tefillah, Mezuzah, what do you write on? Sefer Torah, you write on everything. Gvil would be these two put together, done. So Sefer Torah, you can write on Gvil, Klav, Tuchsustus. What exactly do you write a mezuzah on? What do you write a tefillin on? That was the sugya yesterday. We're continuing with that sugya. Rav Papa Omar. Rav da Omar Ketana de Menashe. So, first of all, before anything, I forgot to tell you this. I know it's kind of late, but it's negeh to the shir. So today, a lot of people are wearing masks. And if you go in the street, you'll see people wearing the mask like this. It's a minhag. They wear it on their chin. It kind of protects you from your beard growing or something. I don't know exactly. There are other people that wear it above their mouth, but not their nose. Also, not a thing. We are going to learn, believe it or not, I'm not kidding, in today's daf, that there's a big inyan to wear it like this. I'm not joking. And why? It's mamish in our sugya today. We're going to see why. Okay, why? Think about it. Why is this a way to wear a mask in a pandemic? Okay, think about it. If you come up with a solution, I give you 1,000 points. I found it in a sefer yesterday. What? Yeah, and by the way, I have a screen right in front of me, in case you're concerned. It's 15 feet away from my face. It protects everybody from the real big sneezes and all that. Now, it's about 3-4 feet away. I don't know what it does, but legally, I was told that a chazan and a rebbe do not have to wear a mask. So we're going, how it makes sense exactly, I don't know, but we have that screen. Fine. Rav Papa Omar, Rav the Omar, so we have Rav. So now that we're way into the shir, Rav said yesterday, or on today's Amud, Duchsustus harei keklav. 4 words. Duchsustus, the part closer to the flesh, is like klaf, the part further away. It can mean 2 things. Either whatever you have to write on duchsustus, you could also write on klaf, or like the Gemara is going to say, whatever you write on klaf, you can reverse it. That's the maskonas sugya. Whatever you write on klaf, meaning mezuzah, you could also write on duchsustus. Fine. Let's see how it works out here. Because yesterday we were talking about that a mezuzah could only be written on the chsustus. So let's see how it fits in here. Rav Papa Omar, Rav da Omar ketana de Menashe. The Tana de Menashe, ksav ala niyar v'ala matlas. If you wrote it, what's it? We'll see in a second. If you wrote it on a piece of paper made out of grass, v'alamatlas on a piece of cloth, psula. Yeah, if you wrote a Sefer Torah or a tefillin on a piece of cloth, of course it's possible. Ala klaf, vala gvil, v'aduchsustus. So these are the three things that we were discussing. Klaf, the upper part, gvil, both parts together, done with gallnuts and everything. V'aduchsustus, the bottom part. Ksheira, it's kosher. Now the Gemara wants to prove from here what's going on. Ksavamai, ilem mezuzah. It can't be talking about a mezuzah. Mezuzah klaf min kasvinon. You can't even write mezuzah on a klaf. Only on the chsusus, like we discussed yesterday. So it's talking about tefillin. Now, if it's tefillin, so it's a beautiful raya to Rav. Rav says you can write tefillin. What's the lashon? The chsustus keklaf. Harei keklaf. So I could write tefillin on both. He says, just like I could write it on the chsustus, I could write it on klaf. And it's referring to tefillin. We're asking a question, how could it be? Nobody agrees to Rav that you can write it on both. Over here you see, you can write it on both. As the Gemara, that's not such a great raya. But there's a third thing called gvil. There's nowhere in Shas mentioned that you write tefillin on gvil. And it says you can write it in all three. Obviously we're talking about a Sefer Torah, therefore there is no raya to Rav. Perhaps there's a raya. It's referring to, Rashi says, a very interesting halakha. I could take my tefillin shel yad and turn them into a tefillin shel rosh. Because tefillin shel rosh has more kedusha than tefillin shel yad. But the reverse, to take a tefillin shel rosh and flip it into tefillin shel yad, I can't. Then it continues, kayotze boy, because this is the concept of malim ba'kodesh ve'meridim. You always go upwards in kedusha, you don't go downwards. So therefore, kayotze boy, tefillin shabala v'sefer Torah shabala. If you have tefillin that are worn out, and a Sefer Torah that's worn out, it's ready to go into the shemus, into the gniza. So a guy cannot come with the scissors and say, hey, wait, before you throw it away and bury it, let me chop out the portion of the mezuzah, which, okay, it's in two parts of the Torah. According to Rashi, I'll chop up two parts, I'll combine them together, roll them up, and put them on my door. I took it from a Sefer Torah. Can't do that. Why not? According to Taisus, so I take one parsha and I write the rest in my handwriting on the margin. At any rate, you can't go from a Sefer Torah that's the holiest of the holy, it has all Chamisha Chumshe Torah in it, and make it into a mezuzah. So the Gemara brings a beautiful raya. You tell me the only reason I can't do it is because of this idea that I can't go from higher to lower. But the material is perfect. It would be good material. And then it would be a perfect raya to Rav. Even though it was written on the chsustus, I could write tefillin on the chsustus, not just klaf. It's written on klaf. So I wrote tefillin on klaf, and now I want to make my tefillin to mezuzah. Problem, mezuzah klaf mikasvinon. But I cannot write tefillin on klaf, so I have another issue. Forget about the fact that I'm going from tefillin to a mezuzah, and I can't go downwards. I have a problem that's going to be written on the wrong material called klaf. Says Gemara, you could write it on klaf. But Tanyan, I'll prove it to you. I do have someone called Rebbe Meir, which most of the anonymous Mishnais are Rebbe Meir. He's certainly great enough to be considered a real shita and a good one. He holds you can write a mezuzah on a klaf, not a problem. Why? He even gives a good reason. Klaf is the tougher one. Next to it's the outer layer, toughest of the tough. I want to put my mezuzah, I roll it up, put it in the on the outside. It also makes sense. It's thinner. I need to roll it up. Says the Gemara, and here we finish with the Sugya. If you're confused with the sustus and klav and gvil, we're almost done. The beauty of Daf Yomi, before you know it, you're on to the next topic and can start all over again. I'm telling you, I bumped into two people yesterday. By the way, I'm not going to say that it's the Baal Simcha, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I was by Yehuda, David's, I can't call him Yehuda, I call him Judah, our Baal Menagin. I was by his chassan in the backyard, and saw Levi had a chasana yesterday in the backyard, which was closed down. I heard at the end of the day, I was on Zoom, I saw his wedding, I saw the chuppah, and unfortunately, I think it was closed down in the middle of the wedding. But I met people at the wedding. What's going on? It's good. Baruch Hashem, today is quieter, it's calmer. I'm just running out of time. The issue is that I said, what's going on? So one guy, David Israel, told me, Israel Davis, he said that I said, where were you? He goes, Fahermi. I said, yeah, what about the guy that was 70 years old? He told me every email, he knew everything. So he was holding. Other guy said, you're right, I'm out, this whole Corona thing. So I said, Nusul, let's go, come tomorrow. Yeah, it's the middle of a Sugya. Rabbi said, there's no middle of a Sugya. We're doing Daf Yomi, right? It doesn't matter how many days you missed. We understand there's Corona, so let's say you took off 2 months. So for that, you're not going to do Shas now? So you missed the beginning of Shabbos. There's another 70-something daf left. Let's go. You could start in the middle of nowhere. Here, we're doing a new Mishnah today. We're doing a new Sugya. Anyway, so let's finish off the Sugya. Says the Gemara, once we discussed this idea that you could write a mezuzah on klaf, the chsustos for sure, that we said yesterday. Klaf also. So when Rav said his words, the chsustos harei klaf, so you're going in one direction. Just like klaf, you write tefillin, so two chsustos you can write tefillin. Do the reverse. Say the opposite. What he meant to say, Rav, is ma d'chsustos koisim olav mezuzah av klaf koisim olav mezuzah. According to this, I could write a mezuzah both on klaf and d'chsustos. Tefillin, I'm going to be stuck now only on klaf, and a sefer Torah I could write it on all three: klaf, d'chsustos, and gvil. End of that. Next, now we're holding where we need to be holding with 24 minutes left of the day. It says in the Mishnah how much ink, we're going back, every object in the world has a different shear. Some of them are similar, but you have to look at every object independently. So we have an object called ink. How much ink are you chayiv if I take it from my house, Rosh Hashanah, into Rosh Hashanah? 2 letters worth. Or 2 letters worth in a pen, in a quill. Or 2 letters worth in the inkwell. By Rava, question. What if I mix it up? 1 letter worth in a pen, 1 letter worth in my inkwell. Or I mix it up, 1 in here, 1 in here. Kids are 2 letters, but I mix it up at 2 out of these 3 things. Mau, teiku. Major question that Rashi brings up. It's brought down. I mentioned this question in Masechtas Nida, and it's throughout Shabbos the question. We had it when it came to fire, I believe. If a person takes out a flame, how much flame? Question. You're carrying the candle outside. What about the candle? Here also. How much ink? 2 letters, this size, that. What about the pen? I just carried a pen outside. So you have to come on to unbelievable chiddush that Rashi says, the pen doesn't count. You're not over on the pen. The pen becomes bottled to the ink. Since I want ink, there is no pen. Halachically, I'm not taking out a pen. Same thing with food. I think we discussed this once. Yeah, it sounds very familiar. Food, Rashi brings it down. If I'm taking out a plate with food, I look at the food, and the plate becomes bottled to the food. A new concept. Omer Rava. We know when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah, the first Mishnah in our Masechta. I go from Rosh Hashanah into Rosh Hashanah, I have to put it into the Ani's hand. Remember? There's a guy standing there. I have to make ha'anocha. I have to release it. I have to put it down. Lay it down. Says Rava, a big chiddush, that when I write it, if I'm writing it on my hand, as I'm walking, that's laying it down. Even though I'm moving, but the letters are munach. They are resting. They came to a rest. Where? On my hand. So that is considered the hitzah 4 letters. If he took out 1 letter, if I did it in 2 trips, with 1 helam, of course, with 1 awareness. If 2 awarenesses, I'm not chayiv anyway. In 1 awareness. At 9 o'clock, I go outside, write the letter shin. I go back into my house, grab some more ink, come back out, write mem. Now I have shame. I am potter. Why? Once I got to write my second letter, what happened to the first letter? It dried up, and it's already not ink anymore. So I can't combine the two. One is hard and one is soft. No good. Oh, and now I see the boys on Zoom, like we need to do. I see Dr. Epstein clearly. I see Seth. You see, look, Avi, it's perfect. You're usually up there with the Chazon Ish. Yosef Biliak. I see Eli Dykman. I see our famous attorney, Michael Cohen. I see Aryeh Weil. Great. I see everybody. I see the whole island. These are the guys. I even see Avi Kamiansky. He's wearing a white shirt today. L'Kavod Motzei Rosh Chodesh. Okay, fine. I mean, yesterday he was wearing the red shirt. Whatever. Lo mishaneh. Avi is Avi. But the good news is he can't share screens now. Haha. No. And now I see okay, Givaldik. Robert Links is on there. The whole Bernard David from Manchester. Givaldik. Says the Gemara, I feel mamish at home. I do, because at home these are the faces. These were those guys on the first screen that always cop the first screen. Rabbi Leader. And Mr. Kornblue. The whole loylam is here. Excellent. Zog the Gemara. What's the shear of Eitzah on Shabbos, Rabbi Isai? A full gregaris. He did a half a gregaris, and then he took out another half. Rishoyna nasik misha kol kelev. So don't pay too much attention to this, because this is just a half a minute. The Gemara says, if you went back into your house, it's as if a dog grabbed it and ran away. The dog didn't grab it away. It's still sitting there. So why can't I combine a half and make it a whole and be chayiv? This is what I meant to say. But if I went back and I grabbed the first one, Nasis Rishoyno, if I lifted it up, then it's as if it disappeared, as if a dog took it. Nasis Rishoyno, so then they don't combine. You need that the first half should be laying there, then I come along and I put the second half. Rabbi, I forgot to say this. I know that we have no time, but I have here a tremendous guest. We have Naftali Rishel. To me, it's hard. He was from the first guys. I loved always seeing him, and then he disappeared. His mother was nifter. He got messed up in business in America, stayed there for months at a time. Baruch Hashem, biz. He didn't realize that yesterday was his day. I don't know about Rabbi Schoenberg, but maybe the two of them are both here today. It's tremendous chus for me, tremendous. Hopefully you continue coming to shir every day. Rib Naftali will save you a seat on the main table, I promise. Zok the Gemara. So this is very interesting. If you have a half a gergeres, and then you take the second half, and you didn't do a hanacha, you just passed over the first one, now you're chayiv. V'amai, holoinoch, but we just said you have to rest on Shabbos. Says the Gemara, he did rest it by invoking the famous concept called lavud. Anything that's within 3 tfachim is considered attached. We have it by sukkah. If your wall doesn't go all the way to the top, it's as if it's attached. If it's within 3 tfachim, so over here it's within 3 tfachim. Now, Taisus points out an unbelievable thing. If your hand is dragging close 3 tfachim to the ground, so if you're holding a chatzi gergeres, that's the hanacha. I don't have to lay it on the ground halachically. I'm within 3 tfachim of the ground. So then what's the big chiddush here? It says Taisus, the chiddush is because he's 3 tfachim and an inch away. But because this half a gregeres is an inch tall, now it's as if that's all the Gemara is trying to say. That gregeres is going to grab it and bring it within 3 tfachim. Yes, if you were within 3 tfachim of the ground, you were yaitza through your chay because of lavad. But the chiddush is that the half a gregeres that's sitting there also is mitzvah. But at the end of the day, it's not good to pass through. Where does he say this? By the famous Sugya of Klutov, a guy is pitching a ball. We're going to be discussing it. Whether or not the ball is considered resting on the ground. So over there, Rava says it's not, you have to rest. Like Kasha, Kam Bezayir, Kam B'Maver. Rava was talking about throwing a ball. The ball is not in your hand anymore. So moving object, you can't see a bullet flying through the air is as if it's resting on the ground. But over here, it's resting in your hand. It's not on the ground, but it's in your hand. It's at least resting somewhere. It's not moving. So that hand is within, you are moving, your body is moving, but the object is not moving relative to your hand. You see the difference? If the object is independent, it's flying through the air, so nothing's holding it. It's flying. So Rava says in that case, it has to be resting. But over here, the object is actually resting in a hand. The hand is moving. Therefore, if the hand is within 3 tvachim of the ground, there's lavud. This is a pashat halakha, as we discussed up until now. If you took out 2 halves of a shear with 1 awareness, you're chayiv. And if you did it within 2 awarenesses, in other words, I took out a half a gergeres. Oops, it's Shabbos. And then I had amnesia and I forgot that Shabbos. Or, oops, I didn't know that it's also to do it on Shabbos. But then I realized, and then I took it out again. Potter. If it's in 1 awareness, but into 1 rishus, into 1 rishus harabim, chayev l'shtei rishuyos potter. If I brought it out into 2 different rishuyos, potter. So I just stole this picture straight out of the Gemara. Everybody has it in their Rashi, but just to explain what's going on in Rashi, here's a greenhouse, not literally, but it's a house. I just made it green, and here's a rishus harabim. Here's a rishus harabim. The blue is a rishus harabim. The red is a rishus harabim. It says Rabbi Yosef, if I go into rishus harabim, I could be mitzaref to 2 things. Omer Rabba, when am I potter? What does he say? Oh, shtei reshuya is potter. If it's 2 different ones, it's potter. He doesn't mean that if it's 2 separate types of rishus harabim, one is kfish echad, one is the FDR Drive, and the other one is the West Side Highway. He doesn't mean that that's 2 separate rishus harabim. He has to be meaning that there's something dividing the 2, something not a rishus harabim splitting the 2. This area right over here. It could be one of 3 things. It could be a rishus hayachid. That's the worst of the worst, because now you have a real division between the 2 rishus harabims. It could be a karmelis, which is only a derabanan. Karmelis is similar to our streets today. Not a full 60 namas, not a full 600,000 people according to some Rishonim. Or a pisla. Pisla is a piece of wood, a board. Okay? It has to be chatas, meaning a rishus hayachid. If I go from my rishus harabim into rishus hayachid, I'm chayav chatas. That divides the 2 rishus harabims. Ava karmelis loy, not even a karmelis. Abai Omar, afilu karmelis. Avo pislo loy, not a piece of wood. Virova Omar, afilu pislo, a piece of wood that's not wider than 4 tefachim. Why? So we have in Mesechtes Gitin, if a guy wants to divorce his wife and she's not around, so he could put the get in her domain, but she doesn't own anything. He ripped her off during the divorce procedure, so he does her a big favor. He gives her his backyard for 5 minutes, and he puts the get in his backyard that right now is hers. But it landed, he threw it and it landed on a piece of wood. He didn't give her the wood, he gave her the backyard. So since the wood is not considered her domain for a get, so it's not considered the same domain for rishus harabim. So therefore, if I have that piece of wood between my rishus harabim and my rishus harabim, it's a different type of domain. We said it's not her domain, so it's a different domain. Therefore, you can't combine the 2 rishus harabims. It says in the Mishnah, this makeup, the stuff they put in the eyes, they still do it today, 1 eye's worth. Ask the Gemara, which normal woman is going to put makeup in 1 eye? That's not a shear. No normal woman is going to do that. Right, it has to have a certain shimush. It has to have a certain, what's the word? Noam? Huh? Usage, thank you. Coming from the Israeli Shkoyach. No, he was born here. I mean, he speaks a perfect English, but he was born here. I was born there, but my English and my Hebrew. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So what does that mean? In these Arab countries where they wear the whole burqa, and she's not just a ninja, she's a super ninja. She only peeks out of 1 eye. So that 1 eye, she wants to put makeup. At least that 1 eye, she's going to look good. So there are women that put makeup on 1 eye. Not normal. Okay, exactly. Any type of woman, or she was born with 1 eye. There's different. The idea is the same. Certain people, but maybe it has to be a common usage. But there are certain nations that they do where they sell eye makeup, but they only have 1 eye peeking out. So that's what it's for. If it's for healing purposes, only for healing. But if it's for makeup, where did you come up with one? So very interesting. So we just said one. He says two. Which one is it? Iranios. Villagers, says Rashi, very interesting. They don't have this kind of pretense that we have. We're too busy showing off to other people and dressing up certain ways. The villagers are simple people. There's not a lot of people around. They have no business. They're not dressing up for other people. They're not trying to entice people. Therefore, they don't wear this whole burqa thing, and they do makeup on two eyes. Shava, the reason why the next section is in parentheses is it's part of the Gemara, but it's in the wrong part. It's not in order. Fine. Shava kedei litain al pi nekev katan. What do you do with wax? You plug a small hole. What's a small hole? Tana kedei litain al pi nekev katan shel yayin. Something that's liquidy, like wine versus oil versus honey, things that are thicker. So, in other words, a very small amount of wax. Devek, what do you do with glue? Kedei litem beroish hashafshaf, to put it on top of a board. What's a shafshaf? Tana kedei litem beroish shafshaf shebroish kanashal sayadin. So these people, I looked it up on Google. People are doing this till this very day. In certain countries, they would trap birds with a lot of glue. You need a lot of glue for this, so it's a larger amount. By the way, just as a public announcement and notice, there's a nuisance called pigeons, especially in our neighborhood. So one of the products that I use, and very effectively, is Pigeon Away, it's called. It costs 80 shekel for like a deodorant-sized bottle. You spray it down. It's glue. It won't trap them, but they get really annoyed. They have to go like this a few times until they pop their foot. They learn very quickly, don't step here. But it could trap lizards and stuff like that. So if you're scared of lizards and you don't want to pull the poor guy out there, and you want to, anyways, if somebody wants to make billions of dollars, come up with an effective way to get rid of these pigeons. I'm telling you, it's the biggest industry here in Israel. What? So it does make a mess. So dirt sticks to it. Don't put it on your red roof. It'll never come off unless you don't care that people see it. But it's a great Pigeon Away, pigeon gone, something like that. They sell in the hardware store. You spray it. Trust me, I've seen these crazy birds. Even the wild one. They get on it. They don't know what to do with themselves. They get away. They know very quickly. Don't come back there. It's crazy. The guy's nuts. He wants to kill us. Listen, we're all about helping the olam, whether it's in Torah, pigeons, whatever it is. Zefes gofers kedelasis tonic kedelasis nekef katan. So if you have sulfur, you have tar, pitch. So you're making a small hole for I think it's one of these materials like what was it, lead or something? Oh no, what do you have in a thermometer? Mercury. So it's like the size of mercury to plug up mercury. That's what they say. Fine. Char says kedelasis pikur. Going back to this pikur. Crushed rock. And Rabbi Yehuda says for the pitput. What's going on here? Pitput is this leg over here. Are you able to see a nice clear picture on YouTube? So pitput is the stand that this oven sits on. Yesterday we were talking about right now we're talking about this hole to fill in, to make this hole nice, to put the bellows in. Rabbi Yehuda says, now look, if you look close at this picture, Yoni's picture, the tripod is larger than this hole. So who has a bigger shear? Rabbi Yehuda. The Meimra, the shear, the Rabbi Yehuda nafish. It's it's more. You need to have crushed brick to make a tripod. It's a lot. Hakaim alon the shear, the Rabbanu nafish. How? We know, what are you going to do? There's no 5 minutes. First of all, it's 7 minutes.
5 minutes.
And we don't have minyanim, and we were trying to get this thing together, and we got coffee in the mail. There's different things going on. All right, so leave these things to David, okay? So don't get involved. You stick to your YouTube, to your Zoom. Make sure everybody's watching. Says the Gemara. Now, how do we know that Rabbi Yehuda is always the lesser shear? Says the Gemara, because it says in the Mishnah, we had the shear of a rope. How much a rope? To make a handle for a basket. Comes Rabbi Yehuda says, no. I mean gemi. Gemi, to make a handle for the siphon, whatever it's called, the who? The sifter. Comes Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it's smaller. It's the size that you take to measure your kid's little foot, and you bring it to the shoemaker. So since he's in a smaller shear there, he's a smaller shear. It has to be consistent. Why? Pshat is, because when you have two shiurim, I could do the sifter and I could do the shoe. Which one do I pick? Rabbi Yehuda says, I go l'chumra. So I'm going to go l'chumra everywhere. I'm always going to go with the smaller shear. So if I go with a pitput or the whole of a kur, let me go with the whole of the kur. Let me be more machmer. So the opposite. Rabbi Yehuda should say the whole of a kur, not the larger shear. Says the Gemara, you're right. He is the smaller shear. He's talking about a crack in the tripod. Not to make a whole tripod. That's a lot of crushed brick. It has a little crack, yeah. What are you smiling at me? Subin kidei litena pikur shel tzarfei zav. We're all excited to be, I'm telling you. Tana Rabbanan. 5 minutes. It's more than enough to do this summit. Anyway, we're only trying to get to the Mishnah here. Hamoitzi sayar, how much here? Kidei legabel boisatit. Now you add here to strengthen the clay. You see it even today. If you look in America, I haven't seen it in Israel, they put fibers into cement. You'll see you're aware of it? They put like things that look like here, but better than that, like plastic stuff, really good stuff. The next halacha is, according to Rashi, you add this word tit, kidei lasois pi kurshel tzarfei zav. It's the same thing basically as this guy, but I'm assuming since gold, you don't make a vessel of gold that size. Gold is very valuable, so you're making so the core of this oven of gold is going to be much smaller, so the hole is much smaller. Sid, how much lime? Kidei lasud, tana kidei lasud etzbak tano shebabonos. I might have made a mistake yesterday when I was saying, especially in the 8 minutes, so I'm going to correct it here. We're not talking about the joint l'chayra of a young girl, but we're talking about the whole finger, her whole finger. What does she do with it? As we're going to see, there's two usages of lime. Basically, they would use lime to remove hair and also to enhance the skin, to beautify the skin, the coloration. If a girl is not 12 years old, but she's already developing and she's embarrassed of hair, so it depends what is it called? What kind of poor, wealthy, what status, what group you're from, what social something. Okay. Huh? No, better? Social economic group, that's better. What social economic group you're from? And on Zoom chat right now, there's 14 people that just wrote what I... okay, thank you. Yishkoyach, Zoom guys, Yishkoyach, I appreciate it, but it's too late. They chapped you first. So if you're really poor, you use this nasty lime stuff, terrible stuff, as we're going to see soon. And if you're wealthy, you use fine flour. If you're wealthy, sounds familiar? That's what they did in the time of Esther. What is this stuff? Ravuna Barchi Omar, stochas. It's perfumed oil. It's a third of the time that it took to grow. The word ampiknoin is referring to this olive oil that didn't have a third yet. Like it's not mature olive oil. It does two things. It removes hair, and it causes the skin to be softer, to glow. Rabivi, I found this fascinating. Yesterday, they started the trial of Bibi. And so why is this? It doesn't say Bibi, it says Rav Bibi. But you'll see in a second. Rav Bibi, Havile Barta. He had a daughter, Taflo Aver. So he did it slowly. He put lime on this limb, on that limb, and then he sold her off on the market, in the Shidduch market, Shakabo Dalid Mezuzeh. He sold her for 400. Now, you know my pet peeve, in Shas, it's always 400 and 300, always. So it doesn't literally mean he sold it for 400. It might have been 350. It means a very large number. He was able to get, and Taisus points out, these are very proper people. But even though they're proper, look, they wanted the best girl on the market, and they're willing to pay for it. Sidum Aleh, but the opposite, it was the opposite way. Today it's reversed. They have it reversed. The guy in yeshiva gets the full apartment. Over here, she got the full apartment. Why? Because he did this trick of lime. Says the Gemara, unbelievable story. There was this Nachri in the community. And he also had a daughter. He didn't realize. He said, why should I do one limb? He painted her all in lime, and poof, she dropped dead. Omar, what? She evaporated from the lime. Omar, Kotal, and here they take out the Rav. So I thought it was great. Kotal Bibi Lebarte. Bibi killed my daughter. So that's what basically it's mamish. It's Yana de Yaima. Because he was a guy. He didn't say Rav. He wasn't calling him. He was mad at him. Bibi killed my daughter. That's what they're screaming in the news. Bibi killed this one. Bibi did that thing. And it was the day that the trial started. Omar Rav Nachman. Rabbivi the Shasi Shichra. Rabbi say, don't go ahead and start doing this to your daughter. It's only people that are heavy beer drinkers, bayim benote taflo, it causes their daughter to have this lime because it makes your hair grow a lot and dark. It's terrible. So it says in the Mishnah, how much of this lime? Enough to do kilkul, which we said means to pat down, to smooth down. I forgot to get a good picture. You know, you see it in America a lot. They take this gel, it's real greasy, and they put the hair like really backwards, like the kids are like a mafia guy. That's what it is. They did it back then too. And Reb Nechemi comes along and says, no, not kilkul, but andipi. What's going on here? Says the Gemara, my kilkul, my andipi, omarav tzido bas tzido. This is kilkul, pushing the hair backwards, and this is andipi, putting the lime over here to basically to get rid of the payas area. Again, it removes hair, so that's what they used it for. Remember this shiur the Rabbi Yehuda Nefesh. Look, if you have to slime your hair backwards, that's a lot. That takes a lot of material. If you just have to cut off a little bit of payas, it's less. But we just said Rabbi Yehuda is always less. How come the shiur the Rabbanan Nefesh? Rabbanan is always more. Says the Gemara, Zuta midrabbanon. It's less than Rabbanan who say a finger's worth. Yeah, they put it on the girl's finger. With the Nefesh midrab Nechemia, and it's more than Rabbi Nechemia. So Rabbi Yehuda is in between. This is more than this, but it's still less than a finger. For some reason, you have to put even if you're doing a pinky, you have to lather it up a lot in order for the hair to come off. Meisvei Omar Rabbi Nirim de Rabbi Yehuda b'chavut. Yeah, we're talking about lime. So Rabbi says, I like Rabbi Yehuda, b'chavut. If the lime is dissolved, in other words, it's like creamy. V'div Rabbi Nechemia b'beitzas hasid. And I like Rabbi Nechemia that he says to take off the payas or whatever when it comes to a lump like an egg. But if you're talking about removing payas, it has to be cream over here also. How do you put an egg? You're not going to put an egg by your payas to remove hair. It doesn't fit in. We're talking about something else completely. We're talking about putting lime on a barrel. I have a barrel that has a spigot on the bottom, and when I want to, happy birthday Simon Cohen, it says, happy birthday, beautiful. Okay. I want to plug up my barrel so I can fill it up, so I put lime on the bottom, lime on top. But lime is going to get dissolved by the wine. It's going to dissolve it out, and there's going to be a hole remaining, and it's going to be terrible. Your wine is going to get lost. We're talking about, you see these lines over here? Perfect. We're talking about a measuring cup, and I want to make lines, I want signs on my measuring cup telling us where the different shiurim are. In the Beis Hamikdash, they had a kli called a hin, and I had to know exactly how much wine to fill it up. Halfway through, it's for a cow, for the bull. When you bring a bull as a carbon, you have to do a libation, you have to do the wine. A third up is for the goat. A quarter up is for the sheep. You put it on the forehead, literally on the forehead. It gives colorations, geschmack. It burns up the skin real good, and a nice red, deep color. Today, they just buy it in the store. It's called makeup, whatever. But in those days, you take lime, you burn your face, you walk around, look how pretty. V'chihadahu bar gilala. Oh, so now going back to what I asked all in the beginning here. Why is it important to wear a mask like this on your forehead and not over your mouth? Says the Gemara, I was going to do this actually. I was going to give a drasha in Maisim Merkava, the Kavod Shavuos, because that's the Haftarah on Shavuos. So I was going to, but then I realized it's a bad idea. I read this Gemara; it was a really bad idea. It says like this: sorry, did I miss? The Ikla above the armor like kum drosh not Maisim Merkava. Do us a favor, get up there and give us a little drush. Explain to us how it works in the heavenly, the things that you're not allowed to talk about in Yecheskel, things we don't understand anything about. Omar lahu, fine, no problem. Let me give you a drasha like Reb Nechemia did, and all. You sure? No, he started darshaning like Reb Nechemia, and then unafokas ari also min kaisel. Then a hornet came out and bit him. And he bit him right on the forehead. You deserve to die. You see, they set him up real good. They said, could you give us a little speech? He says that I'm wrong, but okay, I think I'm right. But look it up. What? Art Scroll agrees with me. I mean, why did he get bit? What? That's how the Mesivta says it? Wow. It's not the Pasha thing. What the fuck is the reason? Anyways, listen to this. So I saw in the Ben Yehoyada yesterday, crazy. He says that in time of a magefa, you should wear a mask on your forehead. That's what he says. Wear a mask on your forehead. Why? Because of this Gemara, that why did the hornet bite the guy on the forehead? Because the forehead is the place where you see a person. You can tell what a person is all about from his things. There's a chachmas parts from the forehead. And in a pandemic, you should wear a mask on your forehead so that the Malach HaMavis doesn't know who you are and what you're all about, and he won't kill you. And that's why the hornet came and bit him right on the forehead where he deserved to be bit. And from here you see, Rabbi Isai, from now on in MDY, we're going to be wearing masks on the forehead only. Or you could wear it like this guy on as a yarmulke. There's other Beseder. Avi's still having fun on Zoom, huh? I thought we got rid of that whole thing. All right, Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Oh, I should say something to him, no? Shem Alois Mimamakim Kosucha Adinoi Adinoi Shemo B'Koili Tienos Nach Kashuva Is the Kodach Roi Ima B'Noi Tishmoyo Adinoi Miyamoi Muchaz Dichol Liman Tivorei Kivisi Adinoi Kipso Nafshi V'Dvoyo Echolti נפשי לאדינוי, שמרים לבויקר, שמרים לבויקר. יחי ישראל לאדינוי, כי מאדינוי החסד, והרבה ימוי פדוס. והוא יבדס ישראל, מכל אבונו ישראל. אכן יקום את ישראל, נצאנו בצור ושיב, יעמדים בין ביום ובין שמוקים רחם עליהם, וזים ונצור לבוך מפיל. שתו בגזומן, קריב ונמר. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys, where's Zoom? This is Zoom? So you see what's going on in the base medrash. Let's see if I could zoom in on it. What am I showing them? And the other one is going to go right over here.